So let me share my screen now. Okay. Yes, you can see my screen. So over the past 2 days or 3 days, we've been talking about survey design, and we've been trying to paint a picture around how building a survey as a whole, right? The broader picture of building a survey. And then we also wanted to know that there is a difference between building a survey, the structure of a survey research, and a questionnaire. We made mention that every survey, every questionnaire is a survey, right? You still remember this image, right? And every survey is not a questionnaire, right? So survey is just the broader aspect which involves many factors, such as the aim of study, the data collection process, the sample size, and the rest of the things that are needed. Okay, so these are the things that we should take note of. All right, so just give me a minute. I'll be back soon. Just need to attend something. Just a few seconds. Okay. Yeah, so we're back. Okay. Hello, can you hear me?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Yes.
All right. So we made mention of survey. Yeah. So we clearly stated, yes, there is a difference between survey and questionnaire, right? We shouldn't confuse both of them. Every survey is not a questionnaire, but every questionnaire is a survey, right? A survey has a lot of things which we mentioned that involves the research objectives, right? The process is involved. It's like a process, like the entire process involving the research objectives, data study design, data collection, analysis, interpretation, right? It's like the umbrella, while the survey, while the questionnaire is just a subset. Okay, these are things that are very crucial as we go about designing our surveys. So I had to point that out for us to just take note of, right? And I made mention, I'm just trying to see key points why we needed to pay attention to survey. I made mention the first day that survey are influencing policies every day. We see that today gay marriage is actually legalized in UK, not because of anything else, but because of survey, right? Over time, they've been passing questionnaires and surveys to residents of the nation, and then they've been feeling, okay, do you view sexual relations between two adults of same sex to be a bad thing? And over time, from 1986, it was felt to be a bad thing, and over 2001, it was still going down. Um, the resentment for
I can't see your screen.
okay, is that true for everyone?
Yes, sir.
Not at all. I can see the screen.
No, most of us can see.
Okay, please, the person that indicated that you can't see my screen, just he might want to log out and log in again. That might be just your network. Okay, but I think everyone can see the graph, right? The chart.
Yes.
So that's where we are. So we saw that uh, it was towards 2001 that the resentment towards gay marriage began to go down. So they began to, okay, accept it in the society. And finally in 2013, they accepted it, all credited to surveys gotten from the individuals of the society, right? So that's the power of survey. Like I said initially, I never understood the power of survey. I literally, I did some of the researches I've done before. It was real lab data, right? I often neglected those that did survey studies. I felt they are wasting time because everyone is lying, right? In survey, and survey doesn't count. It doesn't make any difference in the world until I saw how much UN, how much World Health Organization, many non-governmental organizations are pumping into survey design. I said, wow, I needed to give attention to this actually and learn more about it. And so that made me to go for some studies collaboratively with some persons, some friends in other nations, and we are working with them just to uh, see perspectives from both countries on certain issues. And it's really, really interesting because when you make a report of such findings, you see that there are many uh, organizations that want to give attention to such findings. All right, so this is just to see the importance of survey, right? I'm encouraging most of us who are in final year or who are still in, who are preparing for an undergraduate program or you're preparing for your postgraduate program. Feel free to go for a mixed study. Feel free to go for a longitudinal study, right? Feel free to use a cross-sectional study. Whether you are using a cross-sectional, some of you who watch the video, you can watch the video later and see the difference between cross-sectional and longitudinal. So feel free to use those types of survey. They will still give you a robust study, provided that you follow the nitty-gritties of getting a credible response from your questionnaire. All right. So as much as you can, please use this. Don't just rely on lab data. Lab data is actually good, but don't just rely on it. You can improve by using other research methods. Okay, so let's go ahead. Okay, I made caution yesterday on how we use AI for survey studies, right? I told us that I'm a big fan of AI, but also I also want to note that there are a lot of disadvantages, or rather a lot of ethical issues that come up in AI usage, right? Which, if you're not careful, can take away your license if you're a professional, right? So you have to be careful when you are using AI to be sure that you are not breaking some AI rules that either organizations or public journals actually have stipulated concerning the use of AI. So, but then there are good AIs to use, right? There are research-based AI that can actually give you good, credible informations. ChatGPT is also very good, no, but it's not research-based, right? But it can help you stir up your mind, give you a startup on where to start, give you an idea of where to start, but never base your structuring of your questionnaire only on ChatGPT. I hammered deeply on this yesterday. I gave us tips on what to do, on how to get the best out of your survey. There are two other factors I mentioned yesterday, so that you can be able to give your survey a very robust question, not depending on what ChatGPT will give you. Obviously, sometimes it gives you some dummy information that obviously will make people fatigue when they begin to fill your questionnaire. Okay, so these are steps I just outlined. Okay, I just needed us to mention these steps as we go into the practicals using Kobo Collect. We'll be using some important tools for survey design. I don't want us to use. I had wanted us to use Google Form, but sometimes when you want to do some fanciful surveys that you don't want people to feel. Have you ever felt filled a questionnaire online, and when you're feeling it, you're feeling like there is this vibe you're getting from the survey because of the outline of the survey, the way it was designed, the way it was colorful, right? Have you ever filled a form for any program, any postgraduate program, or that's a virtual program, or you applied for scholarship outside? When you're filling those forms, there's a vibe that you're getting because of the fine tuning of the question, the flow of the question, the way they formatted it, right? It's just the tools that they used and how those tools can be very, very interesting and make your research and make your audience and respondents fill their questionnaires enthusiastically, right? And that will reduce the biases, the responded biases that will come up when they are filling these questionnaires, and these are crucial. So I wanted us to use Google form, but I said no, let's just go ahead and use something different that will give people the vibes when you are carrying out such surveys. So after this training, I'm hoping, and I'm just hoping, that most of you will reduce how you use Google Form and try out these tools that are very, very credible, and they are supercharged, right? And it's really exciting. I can't wait just to share with us. Okay, so yeah, I needed to mention this. So first of all, remember I said whenever you're structuring your questionnaire, we need to have in mind what I stressed yesterday was the need for you to have in mind your objectives. Always have in mind your objectives, and always have in mind your target population. Who am I looking now to get this survey from? Who should fill my survey? So long as you have your problem that you want to solve in mind, then the next that should be in your mind, as we pointed out yesterday, was what your target population. When you have the target population in mind, then others can fall in line. The sample size, sampling techniques, the method to use, whether cross-sectional, longitudinal, or interview, right? All these things are what should make up your that should be in your mind as you prepare your survey. So, but what we want to handle today is just the questionnaire. So I just wanted to point out some few tips as we go to create this questionnaire now. Always have in mind your objectives. Why am I carrying out this survey, right? So that should be the first question. Why am I carrying out this survey? What's my interest? Okay, once that is understood, the next should be what format should I use? Should I use self-administered, or should I go to the route of interviews, right? So, but today we are using self-administered. We'll use this to create the questionnaire and share the link, and people will fill. And by tomorrow, we use same data to analyze and show you how to test your reliability, show you how to analyze your data using SPSS. Same data that we are going to collect today, same data we are going to create today, we'll show you how to analyze, and we'll learn together how to analyze them, how to clean the data, how to handle missing data that comes up when you have your data collected. Sometimes some persons don't respond. You get your questionnaire filled, some spaces are left blank. How do you handle such so that it won't affect your study? All these things we'll try to break it down in the course of today's session and tomorrow's session. Okay, so once you formatted your you've chosen the format to use a questionnaire. For today you are using a questionnaire, and then you are clearly introducing your survey to people, right? You want to know why should we fill this questionnaire, why should we join you in answering these questions that you are sending us the link. Some persons will just send the link, help me fill this questionnaire, or help me fill my questionnaire. For what reason? Why? Sometimes for an average human being, they will just fill it to just get rid of you, right? They don't feel honestly. Sometimes you don't even know if they are the real target audience that need those, that can answer those questions. So you just send to them, they feel whatever they want, and at the end your work can be published. And so your supervisor will tell you, obviously your work can be published because your results are not correlating, they are not aligning, and there is no work that aligns to your study, even though you try to manipulate it, right? So let's just try as much as we can to make sure that we are giving our questionnaires to the right audience. So introduce properly why they should fill that questionnaire to them, and then once you're done with that, then begin to structure your questionnaires properly. And one of the ways that you should take note of is how easy the questions come. Don't make it so don't use words that maybe you're going to a locality where they don't understand English, and you're telling them, do you drink, what was this? What was the name for Igbo? Right, there is a name they call Igbo in English, and then you are going to a locality where you need to get information around that Igbo, and you're going there asking them, do you drink? You are filling questionnaires, and you are giving a name that is not they are not used to. Right, you have to give a name that they are used to, right, and let your audience understand your question. These are very crucial. And then when you are arranging your questionnaire, make sure they are grouped. The social demographic data should be in one group. The other basic information that you need for each section should be grouped. All these things should be into sections. Then move from general to specific. All right, so let's see how we can go about that. Then choose the type of question that you want to ask. Okay, choose the type of question that you want to ask. Is it a closed-ended question or an open-ended question, right? And clearly, don't ever ask double questions. I already pointed out this yesterday, but just refresh us as we go to create this questionnaire. All right, so and finally, always thank them once they are done with the questionnaire creation. Okay, so I wanted to point out something. I don't think I already talked about interview yesterday, and then we talked about questionnaires. Okay, so this question I wanted to take on use of ChatGPT. Right, there are some errors that ChatGPT always comes up when it comes to the Likert scales. I don't know whether you've noticed, but it's always pops up this error. There is something we call reverse coding in Likert scale, and ChatGPT, if you are not careful to give it a good prompt, it wouldn't give a reverse coding. You won't remember, you yourself won't remember to do a reverse coding to the negative information in your questionnaire. And these things can steal your data, right? These things can steal your data. Apple Franklin, your mic is on. Apple Franklin, your mic is on. Please mute. Thank you. Okay. Margaret, if you're on the phone, try to mute him. Okay. Alright, so let's continue. I think it's gone. So there are some cautions to point out when you're using Likert scale. And I know that most, for nursing people, people use Likert scale. And, okay. I think Rehab also uses Likert scale a lot. So and I know a lot of other departments and other non-academic facilities also use Likert scale a lot. Above Franklin, if you can hear me, please mute yourself. Okay, so these are things I said I will just point out quickly. So when you're using Likert scale, always use one number of options. Right? If you have strongly agreed, strongly disagreed, then there should be a balance. I see people having very strongly agreed, and then to the other end they have only just agree and disagree. There should be a balance between the neutral. So if there's a neutral, then to the left there should be and disagree. Okay, I think Margaret, if you can hear me when you come online, please mute Franklin or remove him completely. All right, let's just try to focus while I think think our media team are still trying to handle it. Okay, so let's pay attention while we try to do that. Okay, so always have equal. I'll try to be loud. Always have equal numbers of positive and negative options in between your neutral. So you have positive. You have the on the positive end. You have strongly agreed and disagreed. On the other end, you have uh, strongly disagree and disagree, right? There should be a balance. Okay, always have two options. Always have both end between the neutral. Don't have two on one side and two on the other side. Okay, it won't make a lot of sense. It will make your meeting skewed. Ah, just give me a minute, please. Okay, so let's continue. This is just for. It's not proper when you come for. If you're not ready for a meeting, always try to make your environment very conducive. It's not always proper. Okay, this is just for a general announcement. When you're coming for a meeting, always try to be sure that you are not distracted. Get yourself prepared by being in a very calm environment. Okay.
But you can help us meet him now.
Okay. All right. So let's continue. Okay. Yeah. Sorry about that distraction. So let's run. Okay, so I was trying to point out some important things that we needed to note when you are creating a questionnaire, especially when you are using a survey. Okay, a Likert scale. Sometimes Likert scale can make your data to be skewed. So because of those errors that people that use AI to generate uh, questions, AI often makes this kind of mistakes. So just be sure that you are not uh, making that same mistakes as well. Okay, so keep consistent wordings, right? So if you are using um, a negative statement, maybe you want to check, uh, take for instance, the use I believe so much that this is a statement now. Okay, let's use the one that we've been using before. The attack of Iran by Donald Trump was a very timely uh, move, right? And then your options are strongly agree, disagreed, disagree, strongly disagree, right? Now, if you want to use both a reverse, a negative statement like uh, it was wrong for Donald Trump to actually launch that attack, right? Then remember also that when you are taking your scoring should now be on the reverse case, right? If initially on the positive question, your strongly agreed was 4 or rather 5, right? Your strongly agreed was 5, your agreed was 4, your neutral was 3, your disagree was 2, your strongly disagree was 1, right? But now when you are using a negative statement, also make sure that you have reversed also the scoring, because most times when you also see people, I see this a lot, when you also see people creating a questionnaire, they also use that same positive wordings that they've been using to score also even the negative Likert scales. And these things are not very correct. And it will just make your questionnaires to the survey won't make the reliability won't be good, and then the end results, right, won't be so wonderful. So these are just minor mistakes that make our survey to flaw our surveys, right? It's just important that we take note of them. Okay, then avoiding leading questions, right? Imagine asking somebody, okay, how excellent was this training? Obviously, I'm already telling you, okay, so the training today was excellent. No, that's not correct. It's already a leading question, right? The question should rather be, how would you rate this training? Okay, that should be a more neutral question that allows the participant or respondent to actually give their genuine answer. Okay, so avoid leading questions and then use specific and focused questions. Okay, use specific and focused questions. These are very crucial points that you need to take note of. When I mean specific, don't rather when I mean focused question, don't use double-barreled questions. Okay, don't use double questions in one line of question. So, and then, like I pointed out yesterday, always use third-person wordings for sensitive statements, right? These are so crucial because sometimes you might directly attack people and they will lie in order to cover up. So, if someone is asking a question that feels that they are directly being attacked or directly being questioned on a matter that is very sensitive to them, they obviously might lie. So, but you can use a third person pronoun or wordings to actually reflect it away from them, and then they can actually say, okay, these things can actually be done easily. Okay, so this is the point that we will need to. Okay, we've not even touched on. Okay, let me see if I can just run through sampling. Did we touch on sampling yesterday? Sampling techniques.
No.
Okay. All right. Let's see how we can run through it before we go into the practicals. So, like I already pleaded yesterday, today earlier, if we stretch maybe few minutes past 7:30, be patient and then let's see because I need us to just be part of that practical session. All right. So let's walk through some important samplings and sampling techniques. When we talk about sampling, what do we mean? Sampling is just, okay, someone help us. Someone help us. Quickly. Anyone, just tell us when you mean sampling, what do you mean? When you mean population, what do you mean? Anyone? Just a trial. It's not that we are all learning.
No, hello.
Yeah, Anthony, go ahead, sir.
Okay. Population is actually the total number of persons that are available. Just like, let's say, the total population of Nigeria. But then you cannot collect data from the whole of Nigeria. So you need to reduce, maybe to get just a particular portion, and that particular portion is called the statistics. Now, how do you, of which whatever you get from that statistics can now be inferred to the general population. But how do you then get this statistics? You need a method, and that is now the sampling technique. So there are various sampling techniques that you can use to, okay, arrive at that statistic.
Okay. Thank you very much, Anthony. I think you didn't introduce yourself. Tell us where you are joining from as well.
Okay, I am Anthony Kuman. I am joining from Jos.
Okay. So thank you very much. I think you've attempted two questions. I think that's why it's always good to answer questions. I think I remember most people's names that respond to questions, and that's how I do when I go to webinars, right? Let me just share this story with us. When you go for webinars or when you go for events, never be silent, right? Even if you are you're shy, right? Never be silent. Whether a virtual program, I will never go for any virtual program and be silent, right? Whether the one I'm hosting or the one I'm not hosting, it's not correct. Always learn to. It's not. I'm not saying you should show off. Kind of. No, it's not good to be sarcastic per se. But then, just contribute your own quota of knowledge. It has a way of helping you personally, right? And then some of the some of the contracts that, or rather the relationships I had today, were because of webinars, right, that I attended, and I got a collaboration with some persons outside the country, right? So it's just through these webinars. If you can't be there present, be there through virtual, right, and interact. It's so crucial. I just had to make that comment. Let's continue. So, like Anthony rightly mentioned, you can't always, it's not possible, right, to do the entire population and know what the perspective of the entire population is in a particular matter. But you can take a sample, a statistics of the entire population and be able to make an intelligent prediction of what you think the population has in mind concerning a particular matter, right? So we see that population is like the family, while the sample is like the subset. So you draw sample from the entire population. Now, sampling is the statistical process of selecting a sample of a population of interest for the purpose of making observations and statistical inference about a population. So based on your sample, you can predict and say, okay, from this population, I know that these people like buying shawarma every Tuesday morning, right? So you can just sample the whole region of, let's say, Jos, one local government in Jos, okay, and say, okay, people of Jos always like eating yam and potato on Sunday, right? So based on the sample that you got, right, from the entire population, you can make a prediction, you can make an observation, you can make an intelligent statistical inference about a particular population based on that sample. Okay. Now there are some sampling techniques that, like Anthony mentioned, that are crucial for us to note. Okay, let's see how we can break them down now. Now, number one is the probability sampling. Now, what do we mean by probability sampling? It's just the possibility that that everyone in the population, everyone in that sample has equal opportunity to be selected. I think that's just the simple way to break it down. That everyone in that particular sample, in that particular population, has equal opportunity to be selected. So if I come to the whole of Nigeria and I'm using a probability sampling, I'm just trying to infer that everyone in the whole population of Nigeria has the probability of being selected. I think the perfect picture is when they are applying for these scholarships, right? At some point, they stop using what's it called now? They stop using academic qualification, or the what's the word I'm looking for now? The credibility of the exams. Now they begin to also look for geopolitical zones, right? So they just want to make sure that everyone in Nigeria, everyone in that region is represented. That's why you hear people saying, okay, though you scored higher than me, I still got into the scholarship or something like that. You've heard some people say, let's use admission for instance, when it was still very genuine, when things hasn't gone so bad, right? You often hear people saying, okay, I got a lesser score, still I got the admission, I got the scholarship. Reason is that at some point, so long as you've crossed the average, there is also a tendency, because they are using a probability sampling, they are trying to make sure that everyone in the whole region has equal rights to be selected. So even though people that scored 90 are from a particular population, a particular region, they can't select all of them, right? Even though they are more qualified, they will have to use either what's it called now, stratified method, and then from that creating them into strata. I'll still explain what strata. Creating them into strata, into states, and then they begin to select from each state, at least those who crossed average. Just trying to make sure that everyone has equal probability, equal right of being selected. So under probability sampling, we have different types, and we have just simple random. We have simple random sampling. We have systematic sampling. We have stratified sampling. We have cluster sampling. Now, simple random sampling is just that you just randomly pick people, right? There's no stringent rule. You just handpick people randomly. That's just simple random sampling, right? Systematic sampling has to do with you count people based on a number. Let's take, for instance, I count the first 5, and then I said, okay, every 5 I'll take 1. Every count of 5 I take 1. Every count of 5 I take 1. It's now systematic. There's a system to it. So you are taking every nth or any k, like the maths people will call it, right, number, right, of the population. So it's just trying to, it's not like random sampling. Random sampling is you're picking anyone generally, but systematic, you are saying that if you are picking the 5th person, then you're saying every 5th count I make, I'll pick that person. So I'll count 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 5th. I pick the person. I count again, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I pick the person, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5th person I pick. So it's systematic, right? So, but when we talk about stratified, we're talking about creating a strata. I think strata and cluster, they are slightly similar, right? But people always call them together, right? Some books, okay, some school of thoughts actually just have stratified. Some just have cluster, right? So, but they are not almost the same thing. So, but stratified has to do with grouping. Maybe let's take, for instance, I want to sample the whole of Nigeria, and then I'm taking from the 6 political zones. So I group the whole Nigeria into 6 political zones. They are my stratas, right? So from that 6 geopolitical zones, and then I will start doing a simple random sampling. So I'll just be picking randomly from all these stratas, from all these 6 geopolitical zones. So that's just a simple stratified method. But one thing you should note that no matter the method you're using under probability sampling, you will still use simple random sampling. So either you are using stratified and then you stratify and then begin to use simple random. So simple random is like the baseline. No matter which method you're using, you will still surely use simple random sampling. Okay, cluster is just like grouping people, right? So if you want to, you go to a school, and then you want to make sure that there are equal count of both boys and girls. So instead of picking randomly, you just cluster the girls one side, cluster the boys one side, and then you began to. So I thought it's kind of similar to stratified. So, but they are quite different according to their English. All right. So then number 2 is non-probability sampling. So this one, they don't have equal rights. Some persons have the possibility of not being picked, right? The probability of some persons not being picked is actually there, right? So it's not like the probability sampling. So there is a little bias in this one, and some of the types are the convenience sampling. Convenience sampling is just sometimes you just want to do the one that is more convenient for you. The ones people that are readily available, the respondents that are readily available to you, you want them to just fill the questionnaire and then answer. Okay, so it's just a method that people use. It's not that it's bad, right? It's not bad, but people do use it just for the proper. Okay. My system is about to off. Just give me a minute. Let me just on lights I thought they would bring lights, so let me just on the lights and then I'll be back. Okay. All right. So let's continue. Please hope we got the sampling techniques I explained. Is anyone lost in the explanation? Anyone? Okay.
Sir, please explain the cost sampling method again. Thank you.
Okay. So, like I said, cluster is similar to stratified, right? There is no much difference between cluster and stratified. It's just the name. Personally, I feel that both of them are the same thing. But it's just like stratas are just grouping people, and cluster is still trying to group people, right? It's still the same thing, the same words, right? It's almost the same thing. Okay, but just note that no matter the one the type you're using, always know that you can't use systematic alone, you can't use stratified alone, you can't use cluster alone. You must also, after using that stratified or cluster, you must also use simple random sampling to finalize it. Okay, so let's just continue. So convenience, we already mentioned that convenience sampling has to do with picking at your convenience, right? Picking samples that you feel that they are the ones that are really available to you, right? They're really available to you. Then quota sampling is just like the name implies, quota. So you just choose the people that you want, obviously, people that you want. Okay, that these are the people that you want. Maybe you just want girls in your survey, or you just want boys in your survey, right? They are also part of the quota sampling. Then expert or purposive sampling. This just also saying, okay, I just want people that are knowledgeable in this aspect. So I'm not picking any other person in this survey. Probably you are picking healthcare professionals. So if you're asking a question about child care or healthcare, if you give it to a market woman, obviously he won't know what to answer. So at that point, you're using a purposive sampling, right? If you are asking a question or you're carrying out a study around students, obviously you're already biased in the approach, so you have to use a purposive sampling by selecting only students, right? So it's just how purposive or expert sampling works. Then snowball is like it works like MMM. How many of us know MMM? So snowball is like when you get one person, then one person will get another person. One person. So it's just like people recommend people. So I come to you, maybe there is a condition that someone is suffering, and only you know another person that is suffering that condition. And a perfect example is the one I used when I worked on sickle cell patients. So it was rare to see people that are sickle cell patients. In fact, even the people that you see that are sickle cell, they want to deny it because of the societal bias over them, right? Which is not obviously correct. So, but then if you meet someone in that category, okay, do you know anyone else in this category? that is a secular, they will also tell you, okay, this person is also a secular. You can go and ask them your question, right? So that's a snowball method. So it's recommendation. It's also called referral method. Okay, so that's just how we can categorize our sampling techniques. Okay, if there's any question, you can throw it open now before we go into the hands-on session. Okay, so I think at this point we'll go into the hands-on session using Toolbox. So if you're with your laptop or with your phone, if you can minimize, but make sure your mic is mute. You can minimize and follow along, but try to mute your mic so that you won't distract. So just go to www. Should I copy and paste? Toolbox, kobotoolbox.org. Just type kobotoolbox.org. You get the website there. I think this is one of the best ways of collecting data in recent times. It has been there, but the beauty and the flexibility of this method is what makes it very unique. Kobo2box. Okay, box.org. Okay, so once you've clicked on it, you can click on enter. Okay, now the next thing you can do is to create an account. Sign up. You can just sign up. It's free, so you can just sign up and then get ready to create your questionnaires. So let me sign up. You can use this global Kobo tool, right? Global Kobo tool. I think, like I shared the first day of this training, the research that we carried out that was presented at the collaborative research we did with Godsent, the CEO of Zion Tech Hub, that was presented at the African Youth Summit, African Health Summit at Lagos. So this was the tool that was used, right? And it was the flexibility was awesome. So I said I would just share it here so that people will also learn and use it to also carry out their research. So click on Global Kobo Toolbox. Global Kobo Toolbox. You can just create an account. Create an account. Okay. Once you do that, it will pop up your login details for you to enter your email and some other important informations. How many of us are following with this?
Yes, yes, sir.
Precious, okay. Timothy Obodo, okay. Anyone else? Okay. Daniel, okay, perfect. Okay, all right. So let's go ahead. Like I said, if after this training some of us are still using Google Form, I'll be the most angry. All right, so I'll be the most angry. So try as much as you can to when you are introduced to a new knowledge, how you make it stick is to what go practice it, and that's how we learn. Okay, so Kobo collects, and then that means you also have to use survey. If you're in final year, push for topics that are tailored towards using surveys. If you can, push for mixed studies. I bet you if you push for mixed studies, your supervisor will want to publish your work, right? And you can always come to us for guidance on how to make sure your work is good. All right, so I will just type in my name. Okay. Okay, let me just use my details here. You can fill in your own, and then let's use education, and then let's fill. You can use for your type of organization. You can use I'm not associated with any organization. Just click on this, okay, and then go down, I want to receive occasional updates if you want, but always click on both of them and then create your password. So I'll choose my own password now. You can choose yours. Okay. And then you can confirm your password. Alright, so once you're done with that, you are good to go. And then you can create accounts. Okay, so they'll send an email out. Username must be between 20 and okay. Alright, so that's a warning. You shouldn't use uppercase in your username. Okay, so let's just use some Tochuku. Let's just use that. Okay, let's see. Let's enter password. Choose my own password. Okay, enter your own password. How many of us has reached this stage? If you're following and you've reached this stage, can you just indicate? Username was
Confirm my email first.
I didn't hear you.
Said I've confirmed my email.
Okay, perfect. Alright, so I'm the one lagging behind. Alright, let's go ahead. Then the username must be 2 to length and may only consist of lowercase numbers and underscores. Where the first character must be a letter. Egbo. Okay. Username. Okay. So let's see. Okay.
I think you're changing the full name. You should change the username instead.
I should do what?
Your
Like,
username will not be
you're
your
changing the full name. Your username you're supposed to change. You're changing the full name.
Sorry. Okay, let's
Yeah,
go ahead.
it is.
Okay, yeah. Thank you very much.
Okay, yeah. Thank you very much.
So let's enter the password again one more time. And then okay, so I have to use another account to create this, obviously, so that we can start from the beginning. Alright, so okay, so I should be confirming my mail now. Don't save, obviously, never. Okay, let's just save. Okay, so once you do that, they will send a mail to your mailbox, and then I already received mine, so I'm confirming now. So once you confirm, they gives you access to the home page. So once I confirm now, I can go ahead and log in again. Okay, so I just confirmed, so let me reload again. Okay, so I reload now. Okay, so let's go into the website again, and this time we are logging in directly. We already created a password and a username. Okay, so it's already there. You can log in. Okay, so once we are logged in, the first step is to create a project. Okay, so this project we're about to create now, every one of us in this call and everyone in the group chat will be mandated to fill it, because that was what we'll be using tomorrow for the subsequent classes. So just click on new, right? Click on new, and then you can use a template, but we can start from scratch. So let's call this probably, let's call it survey research, survey, evaluation, research,
Did we copy that?
survey, evaluation. Right, so and remember the first step we're saying we have to describe this to our audience. Remember those basic rules. So we want to understand, our audience need to understand why they are filling our questionnaire. So my name is blah 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 blah. Okay, let's just my name is Somto. Okay, I'm a researcher by this organization. My name is Somto, and a researcher with MI Analytics and Research Consults. We would love to know. We would love to know your level of
Sir,
expertise.
we are finding it difficult because we'll be coming in, going out, coming in, going out. So we
Okay.
won't be following. I think it will be better for some of us using phone to follow your own. Then after,
Okay.
then learn from it.
Okay.
I'm finding
Okay.
it difficult
Okay,
already.
that's true. That's true. That's true. That's true. You can. If you're following with phone, just come back. Come back again. Come back again. Sorry. All right. So let's just go ahead. If you're joining, that's why I asked that you join with the laptop, but that's still fine. So let's go. My name is Somdo, and I'm a researcher with MI Analytics and Research. We would love to know your level of expertise uh, in research and research analytics, analytic tools. This will help us improve our knowledge bank. Let's just call it anyhow, knowledge bank, and create a robust. This robust will actually be, so remember, keep it simple for your audience to understand. Create a good curriculum to improve the knowledge of students.
Hello, simple. Sorry
Yeah.
to disturb. Copy.
Yeah.
With phone. So I did not know. I did not see yet to create any progress. Was it only for laptop users?
Okay, if you go to if you're using your phone, there is an angle. If you come to this, you can see this towards this end in your phone. There is an angle towards it beside the key. There is an angle beside the key.
Okay.
Click on it. Okay.
Thank
Just
you.
beside it, you see it. All right. So let's go ahead. Okay. So my name is Somto. So with this now, our audience actually know. Okay, this is what we are doing, and these people want to improve the knowledge of people and students. So let's go ahead and support them. Obviously, they want to support. So let's choose our sector: education and higher education. There are other sectors that are here. So it can be, maybe if you're in arts, you can choose arts. If you're in public health, you can public administration. You can choose public administration. If you're in healthcare, if you're in public health, if you're in economics, different sectors are here. So you can easily choose that. Okay. So I'll choose education and studies and service. All right. So I'll choose country Nigeria. So we pick Nigeria. So once that is done, we can click on result survey evaluation, knowledge, result survey, research design, research. Okay. Research design evaluation. Okay. So you can create your project now. Okay, so once that is done, we are ready to now begin to create our questions. So we have our project name, we have the description, and with that on ground, we can go ahead and begin to ask our questions. So we can just begin to, okay, this form is currently empty, so let's just add our first question. Based on this kind of questionnaire, so what should be our question? Probably want to know your name. What is your name? Okay, because of confidentiality, okay, we don't want to know. But at this point, we might want to know your name on this particular. Of course, if it's a very sensitive information, we won't include your name. But on this matter, we want to know your name. What is your name? So, and should that be what kind of data? Let's go back to our points. Okay, where is it now? Now, okay, yeah. So when you have included a question, what should be the next thing? You've introduced your questionnaire, right? To begin to ask easy questions first, right? Once you've asked the easy questions first, so what should be your next? Begin to choose your option types. Should it be closed-ended or open-ended? So let's go back again. So once you click on add question, your options will come out. So what is your name? Want it to be obviously a text, right? We have other options here, right? But want this, what is your name, to be a text. So click on it. You can add something like your full name for them to just have an idea of the kind of your first name and then your last name. Your first name, and then this is just a hint, your last name or surname. I know some of us don't know that last name is surname. At least you've learned it today. All right, let's go ahead. So once you're done with that, you can click on save. Always save, please, always save. If not, everything will be lost to the shambles. All right, so we'll click on save. So once that is done, you can click on add. Okay, so probably we also want to get your email. So what's your email? Just write email, enter email. So just add question, that should be a text as well. Save. Okay, then add another question, country. Which country are you joining from? Which country are you joining from? Okay, then you also add, and then want to select. Okay. Okay. Ambia. Yes, I can. Yeah. Yes. It's alright. I'm coming. All right. So, okay. Let's see how far we can go. Yeah. So you can just add a text here. Add a text here. Okay. Just let me make this call. I'll be right back. Let me just answer this call. Hello, Daddy. Hello, Daddy. Hello, Daddy. KB no kita. Na abia now. I can be on now after. I'm coming now. I can wrap it up. Okay, so let's. Emmanuel, is there any question?
No, not at all. I just want to appreciate your effort and everything before and say a few things because I'm about leaving the section.
Okay, okay,
I had time today. That's why I decided to join.
okay. Interesting.
You're doing quite well with the whole section.
Okay,
So I'm thinking of actually adding some knowledge, not on this class, but maybe I don't know. Maybe before the classes end, if there's an extra class I can
okay,
teach about Excel. Just Excel for data analysis. Like
okay,
some cheats I do use to analyze my data
okay.
in Excel. Some cheats I do use and
Yeah.
how I manipulate my data in
Okay,
Excel.
okay.
And
Interesting.
it
So,
should not be up to like 30 minutes.
okay. The interesting thing is that these workshops always comes routinely, so we can find a way to put some more classes like this. Okay. Thank you very much for your volunteering to participate in it. Okay. We really appreciate that.
Okay. Okay.
All right. So let's try to find a way to wrap up. I need to attend to something very important now. So once you're done with this, I'll just give us a sample. We can go ahead and continue, but just let's see how we can create more questions so that you can then fill up. So next question should be okay. Let's. What other thing we need to know about someone's details? Email, country. I think that's all. We can then group this as social demographic data. See how to group now. You can just click on the first bar. Click on the first bar. Click on the first bar. Hold down your control button. Hold down your control button. Click on the second. Hold down your control button. Click on the third. Hold down your control button, and then click on this group. Create a group. Right? We formed our group now. We can call this our social demographic data. Social demographic. So this is our first group. So we can create more questions under different groups. So we can call this. Okay, we can add. This could be. How do you rate? How do or rather, how would you rate
But
rate?
can you come again? You said the group.
Yeah, I'm coming. Just a minute. How would you rate your current knowledge of effective uh, questionnaire questionnaire design principles? Okay, so we can just add this as our first section of questions that is different from the social demographics. So this could be how would you rate? So this would be a rating, right? So is there a rating stuff here? So we can then click on okay. So I think I need to attend to something very, very important now at this point. So we'll continue again tomorrow. Just join up early. I thought I would stretch beyond 7:30. I usually have an engagement by 7:30, but uh, yeah, there's an option there for rating. So we can try it out tomorrow. Just join early. It will be a double class. I think we'll start up with the practicals on time and see how we can scale and do both the analysis parts by tomorrow. Okay. So I still want to say thank you again to everyone that has been part of the call from Monday, or rather from Tuesday to this point. It shows a lot of enthusiasm in your quest for knowledge, right? So more will be shared tomorrow. Please join up early, and please do us a favor and share the link to your class group chat. All right, share the link to your class group chat. It has a long way to improve people's knowledge. So do have a good night rest, and I'll see you tomorrow. Same time, UK time, 6 p.m. Nigerian time, 6 p.m. Good night. Thank you. Thank you.